What's up, everybody? Rob, Gill, Epic Insurance Services. We're here in the hallowed halls in Red Bank, New Jersey at the Galleria. And you know, when it comes to proper planning all across, whether it's individual or for business owners, there's something that's just as important as everything else: how to protect your business. How do you get insurance for small business owners? The first step in how to get the proper kind of small business insurance is you have to understand the importance of who the P&C agent's going to be. And right here, I have with me Mike Del Trui, who's an ace in this space and understands not just to sell somebody an insurance policy, but exactly what they should look for and how he goes about his process. So Mike, when it comes to risk management, what is your process, your success process when you meet with small business owners?
Well, Rob, you know, it's a process that we like to take every individual through to make sure that we've got the protection in place that they actually need. And that comes down to risk management. We're not just selling policies. We want to make sure that they have the risk transfer agreements in place, contracts, make sure that everyone that's doing business with them has the proper protection so that it flows down to them as the last stop for their insurance. The best way to keep your insurance costs low, not to have a claim in the first place.
That is a lot of information. So I want to just take that down and make it real simple. Can you break that down like I'm 2 years old and what has to be looked at as far as your business, especially if you're just starting a new business?
So you're starting a new business. You're going to start an LLC or a corporation. That's going to give you a measure of protection. But the insurance policy is actually going to come into play when something happens, right? Something bad happens to your business. There's a car accident, right, with one of your insured vehicles. There's a workers' comp claim. One of your employees gets hurt. You've got employment practices liability. One of your employees tries to come after you, maybe for a wrongful termination, harassment, things of that nature. You've got cyber liability, which is hackers getting into your system. Maybe you've got client information that gets out there. How do you protect yourself in any scenario that your business is involved with?
Wow, and like I always say, there's no calamity bell. There's no knock on the door when someone's about to sue you for what Mike just mentioned, one of your employees. So understand that the world is constantly changing, and I think 95% of lawsuits happen here in America. So when it comes to understanding the proper kind of insurance for your small business, you also have to be able to make sure it's congruent with your overall plan. So Mike, when it comes to the different policies and how that works within a business, are there strategies you do to limit costs, out-of-pocket costs, through integrating and coordinating these policies that sits and fits with the business owner's core values?
Absolutely. So one of the things is you want to be able to shop the market for many different carriers, which we have the ability to do. Any carrier you can think of, we can have access to. They all have different appetites for different types of businesses, whether you're a contractor, a restaurant, wholesale manufacturer, you know, any legal medical type of business. Also, you want to make sure that you've got the HR systems in play that's going to make a claim less likely down the road.
And you know, that leads me to any kind of doctor that's out there, physician or a lawyer. There's a certain type of insurance that's necessary for your practice to sustain its growth in case something happens by accident. Can you share a little bit about the importance of those policies and how it keeps the business going?
So most businesses start with general liability. That's going to protect you if you cause bodily injury or property damage. That's likely if you're a contractor, let's say. But if you're, say, an insurance agent, you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, it's more about the advice that you give. And that's called either errors and omissions, professional, or malpractice insurance. Basically, different words for the same thing. The advice that you give, is it causing potential damage? And if someone comes after you, that's the policy that's going to respond. If you don't have it, you're only covered for injury or property damage.
And you have a unique strategy that coordinates all this stuff for the company.
Absolutely. We've got policies that may integrate those two coverages into one, or sometimes a standalone policy is best for you, depending on what you do.
That's all. Can you give an example of the integration? What that looks like?
So integration would be...
Like a story from a client that comes off the top of your head?
So you may not think of errors and omissions, let's say, in terms of you know, somebody who's doing landscaping. But they're also doing design. So the design part of it, you may want to have an errors and omissions rider on your general liability because you're doing hardscapes, you're doing things that people may say later on, well, you decided to put this pipe here and this caused the flooding of my yard later on. And now I've got damage, you've got to pay for it.
Wow. So all you landscapers out there that want to be able to protect yourself in case something happens that you didn't even know you can get in trouble for. And by the way, if you're also looking to use this as a way to take your primary business to buy real estate, well, I mean, Mike is right here where he could discuss the importance of individual planning for homeowners as well as cars and equipment.
Yeah. So you've got your home, you've got your auto, you've got umbrella liability, you've got your toys, your boats, things like that.
Can we talk about the umbrella and how important it is for people and just like so they understand why they should get the most they possibly can?
It's phenomenal to me how much people neglect the umbrella policy. It's dirt cheap, basically. Depending on how many cars and homes you have, you could get $1 million up to $10 million of umbrella liability for, $200-300 a million.
And what does that protect you with?
So that's going to protect, it's going to go over and above the liability that's on your auto, on your home. So if you get into a car accident, many states are only requiring $15,000 in coverage. Well, guess what? If you've got $6 million in the bank, they're going to go after that. If you don't have an umbrella, they're going to take it.
And they can get it, right?
And they can get it, absolutely. Yeah. You've got kids that are driving around, you've got a swimming pool, you've got things that could happen that are easily protected. But again, people are looking for the cheapest possible thing. They're doing do-it-yourself insurance online.
And Mike, in that space of an umbrella, how deep of a dive do you do do you find out like what the house is worth, how much is in the check-in savings, what the brokerage accounts are worth? Do you like look at all that stuff to come up with a calculation?
Yeah, you definitely should, because everyone's looking for the deep pocket, as you know. And if you're not protecting yourself, if you've got nothing to lose, don't buy an umbrella.
So here's the thing, folks. It's real important to understand if you're building, a nice empire for yourself in all the different aspects of your life, whether it's individual or your business, insurance is so important on the business side. So whatever you build in 10, 20, 30, 40 years doesn't have to come down in one day because of a catastrophic event that you're not prepared for. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if anybody out there is looking to purchase business insurance and/or wants someone to look at what they currently have, please click the link below. Someone on Mike's team will reach out to you and take you through the success process.